Greetings, everybody. This is the Doctor, and welcome to another Star Trek Online Starship review. This time, we're doing things a little bit different. As you can see, we are sitting out here in space, and yes, we are going to review, finally, the Tier 6 Hazari Destroyer. And the reason why I'm out in space is because this is just a beauty of a ship. I mean, absolutely fantastic looking. If you are a fan of classic or retro sci-fi, I'd say 40s, 50s, 60s, there was this theme of rocket ship styled, well, spaceships back then. And this reminds me of that. It's like a retro rocket ship, but modernized. And it looks fantastic. If there were any kind of winnings for, let's say, the best looking ship in this game, this ship would have to be on that top list. Because I think, not just in form, but also in texture, one of the best looking ships that Cryptic has put out in Star Trek Online. And that is a very high praise from me. Very high praise. This is also what follows with function and form. It is actually a functional ship. It is a very useful escort type ship and very versatile, and I don't think there's anybody who doesn't like this ship because you can kind of make it any way you want. So first, let's go down to Earth Space Dock. Let's go through what this ship is all about. We'll look it up, we'll read about it, we'll go through the specifications so you are familiar with what it's all about. Then we'll look at it and go a little more in-depth on it. Then we'll take it into battle and see what it's made of. But yes, this is a Tier 6 ship, so it has all the goodies. Has the intelligence seating or bridge officer seating. Not a command ship, but it does at least have an intelligence officer seating. Has the full 5 masteries. So all of those Tier 6 abilities on this ship makes it a very nice end-game ship. You can find it in the exchange just by searching Hazari, and well, they're not cheap. They are not cheap at all. About $100 million. Well, 100 million energy credits. This ship is currently backed and can be traded, blah, blah, okay, we know that. Ruthless bounty hunters and mercenaries, the Hazari pride themselves on always completing the jobs they accept. Their ships reflect this sense of both aggressiveness and pride by adhering to simple, streamlined designs that favor maneuverability and firepower. The Hazari Destroyer represents the most commonly seen of their fleet, boasting the ability to stand toe-to-toe with even the most difficult to capture of their targets. This ship comes equipped with a universal Hazari shield drone. Hazari are well known for their team tactics in space conflicts, where one ally will hold back in a defensive position and reinforce the shields of an allied attacker. Their most talented engineers developed this automated drone to allow this tactic to be used even in scenarios where an ally cannot be relied upon. While active, the Hazari shield drone will prevent a massive amount of damage directed toward its owner. This console mod can be equipped in any console slot. It may be equipped only on the Benthen Assault Cruiser or the Hazari Destroyer. You may only equip one of these mods. After achieving level 5 in your Hazari Destroyer, you will unlock the Partners in Arms Starship trait. This special trait can be used on any starship that you own. While the Partners in Arms Starship trait is active, your ally targeted heals and buffs now provide you with a boost to all damage for a short time. This buff stacks up to 3 times. So basically, if you are targeting an ally and healing them, it will actually buff up your damage that you're outputting, stacking up to 3 times. So that's one way that you can do even more damage with this ship in those capacities where you're healing an ally. Hull strength is 31,500 at level 40, 36,225 at level 50, and then it goes up to 42,000 at level 60. Not the highest hull strength out there, but again, this is not a cruiser, but that's pretty good for an escort. Shield modifier of 1.15, so it does have a shield modifier that will increase shield capacity a little bit, which is nice. You don't really find shield modifiers that high typically on escorts, so that's really nice. Crew of 400, pretty big for an escort, but it's a big escort, but it's still maneuverable. Weapons 4 fore and 3 aft, 3 device slots. It's got 1 Lieutenant Intel Tactical, so you can put an Intel Tactical, Lieutenant Intel Tactical station there. Now, of course, remember the Intel abilities are all the same no matter what career they are, so it doesn't matter if it's science, science, tactical, or engineering. All intelligence abilities are the same on every career. So basically, you have a lieutenant intel capability here. You also have a commander tactical, so that you can have full commander seating on the ship. Use all your commander abilities. 1 lieutenant commander engineering, pretty good for an escort. That'll allow you to beef it up or buff it up to take some damage, so it won't be so fragile. 1 lieutenant commander science, 1 ensign universal. So the ensign universal can of course be used for anything except for intel seating, but it's everything else. Console modifications, it's got 5 tactical, so it's a pretty powerful ship. You can fully load it up with whatever energy type you want and go with 5 tactical consoles to buff that energy, so that's going to be very powerful. 3 engineering, again, it has a little more engineering than you would think, and also 3 science, so pretty balanced there on the engineering and science, but that allows you to really customize the ship and make it however you want it to be. It's very versatile. It's got some very versatile, the seating here and the console modifications are very versatile in how you want to fly the ship. You don't have to fly it one way. You're not stuck into one way of flying this ship. Base turn rate 15 degrees per second, turns really good. Impulse modifiers 0.2 plus 15 to weapon power. Console, the Hazari shield drone, we'll go over that. And then the ability package, precise weapon systems, enhanced weapon banks, devastating weaponry, enhanced weapon systems, and partners in arms. We'll go over each of those masteries. So that's what you can get out of the Tier 6 Hazari ship. Those are the stats. Now, before we even go over what my build is on this thing, let's go back into space. Actually, let's skip that. Let's go to the bridge first, and then we'll go into space, because I just want to look at how beautiful this ship is. Visit Starship Bridge. This is just a beautiful ship. I cannot exaggerate that enough. And I have said in some chat channels that it is the best looking ship I've ever seen, and people, of course, will contest that. Everybody has different opinions on what is a good looking ship. I really am drawn in by this. I mean, if you cannot hear the excitement in my voice, it's there. Let me tell you, I am overly excited with how good this ship looks. I wish that there were other ships like this. I think it's just shaped right and everything. We'll talk about that in a second. So here's the bridge. A very large bridge. I didn't expect it would be that large. Very big. Have my chair here, but I'm so far away from the view screen. I hate chairs that are far away from the view screen like that. Hey, what are you doing back here? What are you scanning? So, that's interesting. That's what's through here. Nothing. It looks like we could even almost get down there, but if I could crouch walk down in there, but I can't. So that's weird. I don't know what that's all about down there. Oh, my guy's down there. Oh, I got a guy down there. So I guess he's doing abilities down there. That's interesting. Weird place to put him. You can't barely see him. We've got a count bank, tiny view screen. We have library files. I like the roundness of the controls. It's unique. Select a small craft. It looks like we can go downstairs here. This is a cool little area. Contact duty officers. Big bridge. It's got some unique lighting. I don't know what this thing revolving here is supposed to do or what it means, but it's revolving. It's doing a revolving thing, so that's fine. Just keep on revolving. Let's go out and go to space, take a look at it. Actually, scratch that. Let's go to the ship select or the customization. Let me show you the things you can do to the ship, customize its looks and everything, especially on textures, because this has some of the best looking textures I think Cryptic has ever done for a ship. So here's the texture I selected, Hazari Type 2, but by default it comes with the Hazari Type 1 texture. As you can see, that is a really cool looking texture on a ship, is that not? It looks like it looks like circuitry, you know. It's very cool looking. But then I like this one, the Hazari Type 2. It makes it all silver like mirror. Could you imagine trying to find this in the black and darkness of space? I've always thought if you wanted to make a stealthy type of ship in space, you know, you would want to its hull to be a kind of reflective material like this, so it kind of, when you look at it, and so if you're looking out a window in space, you really wouldn't be able to see it in the blackness of space, because it would be reflecting back the light, and it would just be kind of stealthy just by looking at it. So I like this idea of this like mirror finish on it. It's just really, really spectacular looking. I wish I could, in fact, I would love to have this material on other ships. Cryptic, please give me this material on other ships. I want this material. I love this material. I am in love with this material. It tickles my fancy. Really, though, I do like it. I love the form of this ship. I mean, just look at this. The way that it's designed is powerful. You know, it's got these cannons up here. It just looks powerful. It looks fast. It looks like a fast, powerful ship. It looks like a proper starship, you know, or a spaceship. When you think of a future spaceship, this is what I think of. A ship that looks like this. This would be, you know, my like design. If I were to design a spaceship, this is how I would do it. Totally like this, with the long nose up front, wings back here, kind of like the Wells class. The Wells class is like that, except a little more compact, and it doesn't have as long of a nose. But that kind of shape and form, I just find exceptional. It looks like a flying rocket. I mean, you could see this thing sitting on a launch pad like this, ready to blast off into space. I mean, that's just super freaking awesome. Interior, of course, we just have the one interior. For style, there's nothing you can do on style, but there's nothing you need to do on style. That's what I love about this ship, is it's so good and perfect the way it is. You can change the pattern on it, but why even bother and mess that up? I just like it the way it is. It's got a pattern called Hazari Type. Just there's no reason to mess with this other than to change that material to Hazari Type 2. It's perfect just the way it is. I mean, there's nothing I would change about this ship at all. And it's white. Look, it's got white nacelle colors, white impulse engines. That's unique. I've never seen white colored warp nacelles in Star Trek ever. That's unique. That is so cool. I love this ship. I mean, the Hazari, they may not be the most interesting race in Star Trek, but they definitely have the most interesting looking ships. I am in love with the looks of this ship. I'm just in love with this ship. I'm in love with this ship, period. Doesn't matter, just the looks, just the awesomeness of it anyway. I'm just totally in love with this ship. Okay, let's calm down and go into space here. Take a look at it. So as I fly it, just looks so awesome. See, this is what I'm talking about. In the blackness of space, it would just blend in so well with space. It would be stealthy. It turns very well. It maneuvers very well. I mean, look at this. Here we are turning very, very nice. You can, of course, equip this any way you want. You can put beams on it. You can put cannons on it. It would be a powerful beam boat or a powerful dual beam boat even, or cannons. I went the cannon route on this thing, going full cannons, and it's very nice doing that. Man, it's just so beautiful. I mean, that is just sweet to me. I cannot get over how awesome that is. So basically, I am on my tactical character. This is the War Doctor. He is tactical character. I have basically stripped this character of defense, and he's about all offense. So this ship is powerful in offensive sense, but it's not so powerful for me personally on defense. However, I am able to tank very well. In fact, the energy wave from the crystalline entity, if that means anything. So I do not die from that. You can, of course, change that. You could make this a very defensive ship, or put more into defense to buffing it up, or you could go more on the offensive route. It's versatile in that way, so you can make it any way you want. You're not bound to one single direction for the ship. I'm going to bring up my build now on the ship, but just remember, of course, you can go a million different ways, and mine is not necessarily the one perfect way. It's just the way that I've built it. And just to give you a clue of where I'm sitting DPS-wise, I'm getting close to 20 DPS on this ship. So the way I've built it is pretty powerful. But I'm sure that there are other people out there who could do even better with it. I have been flying it for a while, and I'm very happy with it. Okay, let's look at the build. So, here we go. What I have gone with, again, I have gone with my Andorian, Fleet Andorian phasers. And the reason why is simply because I had already invested into those. I'd already invested upgrading those for other ships in the past. And quite simply, at this point, it's very expensive to upgrade, everything to Mark 14. Getting from 12 to 13 is not too bad, but getting that extra step from 13 to 14 is a big step. And especially if you're going to upgrade all your weapons to 14, that's a very expensive thing to do. And that's the route I went with on these weapons, so that's kind of what I stuck with. And so that's the energy type I'm sticking with as well, is phaser energy. They are dual heavy cannons up front, but they are ultra rare, so they're just one step below epic. So they're ultra rare. They're very good. At Mark 14, they do a lot of damage. So I really have nothing against these. Also, the way they look with the little blue balls that they shoot out, well, it looks like little blue balls, but the way they shoot is unique compared to other cannons in the game. And to be honest with you, that looks really good coming out of this ship. It looks like that would be the kind of weapon this ship would fire, would be like blue energy balls. So it kind of matches the ship in style anyway. On the back, what I have done different here is, in the past, I would have the kinetic cutting beam to go in line with the universal simulated module, and the reason for that would be to get the 2-piece bonus called Omega Weapon Amplifier, which helps your weapon power and all that. Well, this time I decided to strip the ship of the kinetic cutting beam and put all turrets in the back, just to get as much 360-degree or forward firing cannon power as I can get out of the ship. So strip the cutting beam, put in all turrets, but to make up for the loss of the cutting beam, I went ahead and put on the Omega Plasma Torpedo from the Omega Reputation. The Omega Torpedo, in combination with the Universal Assimilated Module, still gives me the 2-piece bonus Omega Weapon Amplifier, so I am not missing out on that bonus. And obviously I upgraded it to Mark 14, so it's even more powerful now. But that was a good combination there. That allowed me to still have that 2-piece bonus from that set. And then what I've also done is to in order to get more phaser damage, or the most phaser damage that I can get, I did put on the heavy biomolecular phaser turret from the Counter Command Reputation. That is combined with the Universal Hydrodynamics Compensator, and that has a 2-piece bonus, which increases your phaser damage, plus 7.5% bonus phaser damage. The other part is for if you have the biomolecular torpedo on, which I'm not using, but it does at least help increase my phaser damage, and that's the whole reason there. Basically, I had an empty science console slot anyway, and I was figuring, what could I put there? And I figured, well, I could put this console here, which is going to help with engine power and aux power and weapon accuracy and turn rate, so that's good anyway. All that's good on an escort. And I can go ahead and then put this turret here and go ahead and get an extra phaser damage increase on top of all that. So I was like, yeah, heck yeah, just try to increase my damage as much as possible there. Now, the reason why that aux damage is important, increasing auxiliary damage, is I've got a new warp core here, and thank you to everybody in the 10K DPS channel. This is a really cool way to do this. This warp core here has what's called weapon to aux, where it is basically diverting, not diverting, but adding power to your auxiliary power based on your weapon power. So as you can see, it adds 7.5% of your weapon power to your auxiliary power as bonus power. Now, why would auxiliary power be important on an escort, you ask? Because of this specific trait right here, under the space reputation. This is a Nukara trait you can get from the Nukara reputation. This is an offensive trait from the Nukara. It's called Auxiliary Power Configuration Offense. It says, in space combat, you gain a damage and accuracy boost based on your auxiliary power level. So this is giving me plus 3.2% all damage based on auxiliary power level. That's a weird sound. Or plus 3.2% it's also and plus 3.2% accuracy based on auxiliary power level. So basically, it's looking at my auxiliary power down there. You can see is 64, and it's figuring out what my damage increase and accuracy increase is based on that auxiliary power. So if I take the warp core off of the ship, and I'm not getting that weapon to aux power, look, see, now I'm down to 54. That's 10. That's a 10 loss. But now let's see, when you go to the trait, you'll see what happens. It has gone down to plus 2.7% because my aux power has gone down. So increasing aux power on an escort does make a difference. Now it's back at 64. We look at the trait, and we're back at plus 3.2%. So aux power is important, and that's why that warp core is used to increase your aux power, to increase your all damage. So that's what I got going on there. Otherwise, it's got amp as well. That's another thing. Plus 3.6% all damage for each subsystem with 75 or more power. So in addition to the Nukara offensive trait, I also have the amp, which is giving me all damage for each subsystem above 75. So that's like a whole lot of extra damage there, you know, just extra damage that I'm doing. But that's why aux power is important there. So this console actually helps increase aux power by plus 3. Again, if I take this console off, that goes down to 61. That has now changed my trait to plus 3.1. So not a whole lot, but it's just a little bit. Plus then I get the added phaser damage buff from that as well. So that's the idea there. Otherwise, I have the 2-piece Borg set on for the regenerative hull, important on an escort. I have the adaptive covariant shield Mark 14 to basically adapt to any energy type that comes my way. I have just a shield capacity generator just to give me more shield capacity because I wanted to just be a little more tankier, even though it's still doing a lot of damage. And then, of course, maxed out my tactical consoles with phaser damage consoles there. I got 3 critical chance and 2 crit severities. So very nice setup here. Very nice build. This is doing me a lot of damage. I'm able to do a lot of damage, I should say. So it's a very nice build. Here's the console. Universal Hazari Shield Drone. So as you can see, this summons a shield drone. Summons a level 50 Hazari shield drone that will follow and protect its owner for 20 seconds while active. It places a secondary shield on its owner that absorbs 80% of all incoming damage. So that's a really good benefit, but it only lasts for 20 seconds. So you need to use it when you need to use it, and then you have to wait for the cooldown. It is part of a set. You can use the Polaric Chromo-Electric Modulator on the Bentham Cruiser, and if both pieces together will basically give you a minus 30-second recharge time on the Bentham and Hazari ship consoles. So basically that reduces the cooldown on the consoles. Not a huge bonus, to be honest with you. I wish it would have done like more damage or, you know, more shield time or whatever, but I guess a reduction is something. Something's better than nothing. So that's the console. Now you cannot apply this on an ally. I have tried. You can't click an ally and apply it on an ally, but you can use it on yourself, and it'll get you out of some hot water, that's for sure. For 20 seconds, you will be pretty buffed up. Pretty tough there. Here's the mastery. Mastery unlocks. First mastery unlock gives you more accuracy, plus 5%. Second unlock is more critical severity, plus 15%. Third is a higher critical chance, plus 2.5%. Fourth is more kinetic damage and all energy damage. So that's the actual damage you're outputting. So that's giving your ship the ability to do more damage, basically. And then the trait that is unlocked is called, again, Partners in Arms. While you are buffing, or that says buffling, that's funny. When buffling or healing an ally, you get a damage increase that can stack up to 3 times. To be honest, I don't use this a lot because as an escort, I'm not exactly out there healing all my enemies. I'm trying to keep myself alive, or my allies, because I'm trying to keep myself alive. So honestly, Partners in Arms, I really don't use much. But I guess if you were conscious of it and consciously aware of the fact you want to do more damage, you could, hit a buffling, as it says, a buffling or a healing on somebody, and then let your damage start stacking up as you go into battle. And you could preemptively do that to let Partners in Arms start building more damage on yourself so that you can do more damage. You would just have to be consciously aware of that and do it before you go into battle. Click on somebody, heal them, and let Partners in Arms then start stacking up more damage on you. So I really don't end up using it much, but I guess you could if you really wanted to. You would just have to be aware you need to do that. Okay, as for my stations, this has the Lieutenant Intel seating or regular tactical seating. I am using an Intel Power. I've got Intelligence Team 1 on here because I'm messing with it just to see what it does. When it activates, you have you are stealth, and you create less threat, and you have an increase to defense, and remove exposed vulnerability. So it's just something I'm messing with. Of course, you don't have to use it. Otherwise, the other place you have here, you could go and see what is available. Let's see, we go here, skills here. And what's available, it would be Electromagnetic Pulse Probe 1, Intelligence Team 2, Kinetic Magnet, Subspace Beacon 2, Evade Target Lock 2, Ionic Turbulence, Override Subsystem Safeties, or Viral Impulse Burst. So those are the intelligence abilities under Lieutenant. But under Ensign, you have Evade Target Lock 1, Override Subsystem Safeties 1, Viral Impulse Burst, Intelligence Team 1, and Subspace Beacon. So you just have to play around and see what you want to use there. Otherwise, I have all abilities set here for cannons because I'm using cannons. So I'm using Rapid Fire, I'm using Scatter Volley, Torpedo Spread. I am using Attack Pattern. That's so that I can use a specialization that actually buffs my hull strength. But the only thing I'm missing is High Yield, Torpedo High Yield. Under specializations, I got mostly everything under pilot right now, even rock and roll under pilot. And now I've started adding stuff under intelligence officer because I like this hide weakness one right here where it says when any shield facing is depleted, you gain all damage resistance along the exposed arc. So that's nice. So I'm starting to add a little bit of buffing damage and stuff to my ship a little bit here. But that's a work in progress too. Eventually I'll have all of pilot unlocked, but right now I don't. What else? I've shown the traits in the past. Nothing really has changed here. Just the one that is to note is that I have the new Kara offensive trait. I've also got rending shots from the Delta trait going on, and then I have increased hit chance and critical severity. As for DOFs, I really haven't changed my DOFs in forever, and I probably need to look at them because they're probably not for what I'm using. Let's see, this one increases accuracy. This one, chance to reduce time to recharge when using cannon special attacks. I guess that's useful. Chance to reduce the time to recharge torpedoes. Okay, chance of temporarily improving your ship power on use of an emergency power ability. Sounds fun. and increased turn rate at full impulse. So those are the ones I'm using. Those are the Doths. This ship is just beautiful. Let's engage the shield drone. So basically that's it. It's a little drone. It flies behind my ship and constantly keeps me healed. Here's the secondary ring of shields here. So that's really nice. This will get you out of a pinch. If you're taking a lot of damage, enable this. It's got a 2-minute cooldown. That's the only downside to it. There you go. It's over. See, it doesn't last very long, but if you use it in the right moments, it'll be useful. But then you got to wait 2 minutes for it to cool down. So that's the special ability. Again, you cannot use it on an ally. I can't like click this guy and use it on him. Here's Intelligence Team. It does cloak the ship for just a few seconds. Makes me kind of stealthy, increases my defense and all that. Here's the rock and roll ability from the specialization. Now, the only unique ability to this ship, again, is the shield drone. So that's really it. Other than that, it's just a powerful escort. And you can design it any way you want. It can be a powerful anything you want, really. So here's my power levels. Let's look at the stats here. What do we got? We got an almost 60,000 hull on it. So not terrible for an escort. It can do a lot of, it can take a lot of damage. My shields are almost at 15k. Almost 30% resistances. My kinetic is down though. My crit severity is at almost 110%. That's nice. My crit chance is up there too. It's pretty good. And look at all that bonus accuracy. Yummy. Stuff tastes good. We'll go to impulse. Here's my turn rate. 30.7 degrees per second. Again, this console here is boosting my turn rate. So that's nice. So those are the stats on it. Stealth detection is 25. That's the stealth detection rating. Let's go to 74%. No, defense. How much defense? Yeah, 74%. Let's look at the damage my weapons are actually doing. And you will see the dual heavy cannons are doing 2,116.2 DPS or 3,000, over 3,000 phaser damage. So that is really high. Over 3,000 phaser damage there, 2,000 DPS. 3,000 again. The torpedo is doing a lot of kinetic damage and plasma damage, and the DPS there is pretty good. The turrets are not as good, but the DPS is higher than the phaser damage, which is weird. But yeah, 1,000 DPS. Phaser damage is only 821. But then you go to this one, phaser damage is 1616. That's really high for a turret, and over 1,000 DPS on that turret. So the phaser damage is really high on that biomolecular phaser turret. So in a sense, it's doing more phaser damage than the other turrets, but a little bit less DPS. No? Yeah, just a tad bit. Probably not enough to make a difference. So that's what I'm doing there. At this point, it's time to take it into battle and show you guys what it can do. Again, all of the abilities are mainly just, you know, whatever you're going to get out of your bridge officers. The only unique ability to this tier 6 ship is going to be the shield drone and then the partners in arms trait. Once I do that, let me click on somebody, heal them, and I'll show you how that works. Let's say I do a thing on them. What do we do here? We do let's do this. There's the partners in arms right there now doing its thing. So you can see it would start building up now, but it doesn't last very long. Bam, it's out. So that's a very short ability. So that's why I'm not so sure how useful that partners in arms is, because again, it just doesn't last long. Let's see if an engineering heal will do. Let's engineer heal this guy. Yeah, okay, an engineering heal will work too. I haven't tried to see which heals work and which ones don't yet, so maybe this is a good thing. We'll do this right now because I want to find out myself. Let's do an emergency power to shields. No, emergency power to shields does not engage partner in arms. What about Tac team. Okay, tac team does. That did a little icon on me too. So tac team does. So far we've got engineering team does, tac team does. Let's see if intelligence team does. Yep. Intelligence team also does partners in arms. So I can use intelligence team on somebody else. But you see I can't use the shield drone on him. Only on myself. Oh, he went away. My test subject disappeared. Let's try you. You're my new test subject. That pattern beta, of course, I didn't think that would. Alpha probably shouldn't. No. Let's see. What else can we do to you? That's only going to work on me anyway. Oh yeah, of course, science team. Yeah. So science team, engineering team, intelligence team, tac team. Any of those seem to enable partner in arms. Yeah, so that's cool. Okay. Well, that gives us an idea then of what we can hit on somebody to enable that trait. Okay. Well, at this time, what I'm going to do is pause the video and get an ISA going, and then after ISA, we'll go do the other 2 patrols that we normally do to take a closer look at the abilities and greatness of this ship. I can't really say enough about it. I mean, I am impressed. Impressed. That's right, impressed. So pressed that it's an M. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll get ISA going, so stand by. Alright. Hello everybody. Welcome back. Here we go. This is ISA Infected Space Advanced. Hopefully this will go very well. We will see what this ship is made out of. Now remember, ISA goes pretty fast, pretty hard, and may not have a lot of time to comment and focus on all of the features of the ship. But in the 2 patrols I'm going to do after this, we will focus more time on those special abilities. For this one, just sit back, relax, and watch it unfold. I have no pets to deploy, so I will just sit here and wait. And really, I've got nothing to do to prepare. I'm just ready to go. I guess what I could do is do partners in arms on somebody once we head into battle and see if, like, that starts stacking up. We'll do it. We'll, like, hit it on this guy that will go in, but it only lasts like 10 seconds or something, so it doesn't last very long. We'll see what happens. And we'll go do that. So partners in arms is going. But it's over now, so that's a big whoop. Okay, so far so good.
Target's shields have failed.
Why are so many people dying?
Four shields failing. Left shield failing. Rear shield failing. Right shield failing. Target's shields have failed.
I'm in an escort and I'm not dying as much as some of these people are. That's kind of weird.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shield has
From this time forward, your culture will adapt to service ours.
Somebody is tractoring these away from me.
four shields failing. Rear shield failing. Right shield failing.
And now it's time to
Left shield failing.
back her off.
Four shields failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Rear shield failing. Hull integrity below 25%.
Okay, that time I knew I was gonna die. No avoiding it that time. Well, I guess I could have if I really backed off.
Surrender your vessel and prepare for assimilation.
Getting some lag here.
Is under attack.
Per usual for ISA. Lag. Okay, spheres taken care of. Let's fly away and do the gate.
From this time forward, your culture will adapt to service ours.
Some of these people are dying quite a bit. All right, cube time.
Target's shields have failed.
will become one with the Borg.
Target's shields have failed.
Okay, well, there we go. Not the smoothest ISO run for the 10K DPS channel, I'll have to say. But they've been getting weirder and weirder over time, so yeah. Anyway, in an escort, I did die a couple of times, but not as much as some of these other people who are in, like, what, cruisers? So, my DPS was very low that time, but oh well. What are you in? So anyway, that's weird. Huh. Okay, well anyway, let's get out of here. That's ISA anyway. You know how those go. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're rad, sometimes they're good and bad and rad and tad, and that's all that has to be said. Let's go to do Argala. How does that sound? And we can focus in on some of these abilities of the ship here.
Target's shields have failed.
And gone. It looks like we are fighting Hirogen here.
Target's shields have failed.
So I'm being held. So many tractor beams.
Target's shields have failed. Right shield failing. Target's shields have failed. Right shields failing. Target's shields have failed. Right shields failing.
Erosion gone.
Hull integrity below 75%. Target's shields have failed. Right shield failing. Target's shields have failed. Rear shields failing.
Who the boy? So that was a nice hard fight there. Sorry for not communicating. I'm just concentrating real heavily on this to show you guys what this ship can do when you go balls to the wall.
Warning, ship is under attack.
It's got a lot to give, that's for sure.
Target's shields have failed. Left shield failing. 4 shields failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Hull integrity below 75%. 4 shields failing. Target's shields have failed.
Nice. So the Hirogen definitely more difficult than the Kazon in this patrol. If you get the Hirogen, they're definitely more difficult. But that gives you a nice show there of how powerful this ship is when you just concentrate on it and just go all out. It does pretty well, I would say. Let's go do the Sakari patrol, and then we'll summarize the ship. Take care of some APUs. They need a butt kicking too. Now that DPS you saw in that ISA run, that was really low for some reason. Probably because it was just a low DPS theme, and we were, I don't know what was going on there. But I have had about 17 or 18 DPS on this at my best so far with this build. So getting close to 20, but I'm sure there's definitely room for improvement. If you wanted to make it into a DPS ship, this certainly is the kind of ship that has the ability to do that, has the capability to do that, and the flexibility. So that's why this is a really good ship, because there's just so many different configurations you can make out of it and do with it. It definitely owns PvE content. No question about that. What are you doing way down there? Look at that awesome looking ship. Okay, let's take down some APUs. And F and kill everyone.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target shields have failed.
think I hit the wrong options. I meant to get everybody as an enemy, but I guess I didn't.
Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed. 4 shields failing. Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed.
And they're all gone. There we go. All done. So let's summarize this ship while we're here. I have to say this is an absolutely spectacular looking ship. Cannot get over how awesome and great it looks as a spaceship, period. It just looks like the kind of ship I would want to fly for a very long time. It's just perfect, perfect, perfect in design, but it is also functional. It has some flexibility in the bridge officer seating, and it has a couple of intelligence officer abilities. It has the ensign and lieutenant intelligence officer ability. The only addition I would make to the ship, if it were me, is that I would add the lieutenant commander intelligence ability. I think that it should have that, being one of the tier 6 ships that came out with Delta Rising and all that. I think it should at least have the lieutenant commander intelligence officer seating. But other than that, it does at least give you a couple of intelligence abilities to play with. Intelligence team I haven't found to be too useful, to be honest with you, after using it for a little while now. But it's cool anyway. It's there. It's something to try out. There are definitely other ones that I would like to try out over time. I'll figure out all of them and see which ones work best. As an escort, though, again, this is very flexible, because you can strip down defenses and make it completely offenses. You can do a lot of damage with it. You can make it that type of ship. But at the same time, you could also balance it a little more with engineering or science abilities or consoles to beef it up a little and make it a little more tanky. Or you could go full tank on it, really, if you wanted to, with some tactical powers in addition to that. You can go with dual beams, you can go with beams, you can go with cannons. You can really, really customize this ship in a lot of ways. And so that's what I think makes this ship unique and useful, is just the flexibility of it. It can be used in so many different ways. Now, I have to say, though, the partner in arms trait, it's not necessarily a useful trait, or at least let me put it this way: it's not a trait that you use much, because it relies on you to heal your ally with some kind of power. And we found out you can use science team or engineering team or tech team or intelligence team. You can heal your ally, and that's how you activate it. But if you're not doing that, then it just doesn't get activated and doesn't get used. The problem is if you're flying this on a tactical character or as an escorty type ship and you're trying to do a lot of damage, you end up not healing your allies a lot. You end up focusing on healing yourself more, keeping yourself alive during all that, especially on, STFs and stuff like that. Now, every now and then you may heal your ally, but you're not constantly doing it. You're not like sitting back like a tank, like a cruiser, healing your allies over time. So this doesn't get used much. Now, it is useful in the terms of if you do use it, it will stack damage output that you're doing to do more damage. So it's useful that it can do that. But it's useless in the way you have to activate it to do that power. See what I'm saying? You just end up not using it much in the real world. And again, we come back to using these ships in the real world as you're flying them. You just don't do a lot of healing other allies a lot, unless you do. I mean, if you do that, if that's like all you do, if that's what you're concerned about when you fly into STFs, even as an escort tactical doing damage, if you're concerned about that and you do that a lot, I mean, and you're healing your allies all over the place all the time, well, then I guess this ship would be a benefit. It really depends how you play it and how you do it. And everybody flies differently, right? So that's the thing about it. It relies on you to heal your ally to get that damage bonus. So anyway, I am curious what other starship traits may be available, that you could add or replace there. And yeah, I don't have any others to try out on the ship at this time. But those, of course, are opened up as you do more specializations, and I don't have enough opened up yet. But anyway, the other abilities under the mastery are kind of cool. This one just increases your damage output flat out, which is nice. And then there's accuracy and crit chance. Pretty standard stuff here, to be honest with you, to just do more damage with the ship. It is what it is, and it gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want. No consoles are burned in, or none of the weaponry is burned into a slot, so you can totally customize it however you want. You got 5 tactical consoles here, so you can really do a lot of damage, and 3 engineering and 3 science, which is pretty balanced. I mean, that's a nice setup right there. That's what you would want to see. That allows you to do a lot with an escort. So it is functional in form, it is functional in functionality. It is a really, really good ship. This is Hazari Destroyer Tier 6. I like it a lot. And if I ever kept ships, what's a ship? If I ever kept ships on my characters for a long period of time, this would be one ship that I would keep on my character for a long period of time. I would use this ship as one of my regular ships for sure. It is on my top 5 list of favorite escorts out there. And if it weren't for me changing out ships, I would keep this ship on here. But rest assured, another ship will be going on here to start testing out and getting ready for a review. But I will come back to this ship over time, because I think this is a ship that I will want to use just to have fun with. You know what I mean? It's a fun ship. Great looking, performs really well. I'm satisfied with this ship. This is a great ship. So that's my review. A+. So go forth and have fun, everybody, with your Hazari Destroyer. Let me know if you've got one or are planning to get one and what you think about it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.